Hello, grade threes. Welcome to our virtual math classroom. It's Miss Crystal here, and this week we are going to continue on learning about division, and our topic is grouping to divide. I know you might not recognize me because I'm wearing glasses, but it is me, I promise. I just got glasses because I was on the screens for so much during the day, so I got glasses that reflect off the blue light. So no, I do not have laser vision. It's just the blue light from the screen bouncing off my glasses right back at you. Anyway, so the last week we talked about how we group and how we share to divide. We're just going to continue on with that and talk about how we can put things in groups and what that means. So to do that, I want to kind of kick us right back to multiplication because, like I said last week, multiplication and division are related to each other in the same way that addition and subtraction are related to each other. So let's take a look, try to remember what multiplication is. What do those numbers mean? Something times something equals something. So what was the first something? Well, when we looked at it, we said multiplication was the number of groups times how many are in the groups, and that equaled the total number of objects. Well, what if we switched these two? Did that change the answer? No, let's try it. So if we have how many are in a group times the number of groups, it will still equal the total number of objects. So for example, if I have 5 times 4, 5, if I want to say it the other way, 5 groups with 4 in them, what does that equal? Can anyone do it really fast? Because you've been practicing your math minutes. 5 times 4, it's 20. 5 groups of 4, so 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Now if I switch it around and I go 4 times 5, if I have 4 in a group and 5 groups, it's the same thing. 4, 12, 16, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Teachers have trouble too. Equals 20. So this was the same. You can see how this is kind of a fact family. Now this week I'm gonna show you what it looks like to switch that around and make it division. So let me just switch it. So now I have the division sentence. In division, remember we always start with our big altogether number. So that's the total number of objects. Then we divided it by how many groups we saw. So the number of groups. And what that gave us was how many in a group. So it's the same kind of thing as multiplication, the same words, they're just in a different order. Does that kind of make sense? I'll show you again. Now, so let's say I have my total number of objects. Again, let's go with our 20. Let's say I have 20 items, and I want to put those 20 items into 5 groups. Has anyone been practicing their division fluency? What is 20 divided by 5? 20 spread off into 5 groups. It is 4. 4. So remember how with multiplication we could switch these two and still get the same number. Well, let's try this. I'll switch it. Does that make sense? 25 divided by 20 equals 4? Well, let's think about it. If I have 5 Timbits and I want to put those 5 Timbits into 20 groups, can I do that? Can I put the 5 Timbits into 20 groups? Can I put the 5 Timbits into 20 kids' mouths? No. So no, you can't just switch that off. But what you can do is you can switch these two words, or these two, what these two mean. So let's try that. Okay, so I still, with division, always start with my total number of objects, my big altogether number, but this time I'm dividing them by how many in a group, and that should equal how many groups we have. So that's the same thing as me saying, still having this 20, but this time we're dividing it by 5. No, we did that last time. This time we're dividing it by 4. Now if I have 20 divided by 4, what should that equal? Well, let's remember 20 divided by 5 was 4. So 520 divided by 4, think of a fact family. Yeah, you're right, it's 5. We'll learn more about that next week. But just for today, I want you to get in the mindset of dividing the total number of objects by how many in a group, and you'll get the number of groups. Now to do this, I wanted to show you an example. So I've got 15, and I'm going to say that they're kids. 15 kids, 15 grade 3 students right there in a pile. And pretend I'm your teacher. Well, I already am, but I'm your teacher, and there's 15 kids all together in the classroom, and I say, okay, everyone, divide up into groups of 3. I want 3 kids in a group. There's 15 kids, and I want to put 3 in a group. My question to myself would be, how many groups can we have? If I take 15 and I split them off into groups of 3, how many groups of 3 am I going to have? That's the same thing as when Miss Dennis or I say, okay, everyone get into groups of 2. And then at the very end, I see that there's people left over. Well, if I had been better at division, I would have divided better so there wasn't kids left over. Sometimes that wasn't possible, but that's why division is important. So let's try that. I've got my big group of 15 kids, and I want to divide them off into groups of 3. So what the division sentence I'm doing is 15 divided into groups of 3 equals, we're looking at how many groups. So I've got one group of 3 here, 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3 here. I can circle them to show them easier. Okay, so I've got 15 kids in groups of 3. So how many groups did I end up with? 5, you're right. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. So that's kind of what we're doing this week. And to do this, I'm going to move on to an example from our pages. So if you can get out page 81, we're going to do this one together, and then I'm going to go over pages 176 and 177. And we're only going to do one lesson this week, because after that we're going to go to the mid-chapter review. Please watch the next video so that you can see the instructions for the mid-chapter review, so that you can get it right the first time. So please get out page 81 so we can do that together. Okay, we are back. So today our page is called Grouping to Divide. It's page 81. And our goal is to use words, models, and symbols to describe division by grouping. So all we're doing is we're going to use our words, we're going to use numbers, and we're going to use pictures to show division by grouping. So last week, remember, we had all of our things all together in a group, and we were crossing them off and putting them into groups. This week, we're making the groups. So number 1 says you can use counters to help you divide. If you have anything at home that could work as counters, I used Legos as an example last time, but Cheerios could work. Any other kind of roundy cereal, Smarties, whatever you have will work. So number 1A says, draw loops around the flowers to show groups of 3. That's all it asks. Show me a group of 3. So I'm going to count out 3. 1, 2, 3. Those guys are a group. I'm going to circle them. Easy as pie. Remember, I'm using marker because I'm a teacher. Please use pencil. And then, is that it? Are we done? No, because we have a group of 3 right here. We can draw another loop. So how many groups could I make? 3. If I were to write my division sentence for this, which it doesn't ask us to, I'm just going to do it for funsies. First, I'm going to look for my altogether big number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's how many I have all together. I'm going to divide that. What did I divide it into? Groups of 3. And how many groups could I make? 2. Good. Now we have these same 6 flowers again, and it asks us, draw loops around the flowers to show groups of 2. Easy as that. 1, 2, that's a group. 1, 2, that's a group. 1, 2, one more group. Bing, bang, boom, done. That's it. That's all it asks. So again, let's make a division sentence. my big altogether number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many did we put in the groups? 2, 6 divided into groups of 2. And how many groups can we make? 1, 2, 3. Done. That's the first 2 questions. Bam, done. Now let's look at 2A. It says draw loops around the counters to show groups of 3. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to find 3, 1, 2, 3, circle. 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 So now it wants us to make the division sentence. We've already done it twice up here, so we're pros. So how many did I have all together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. They were right. 15 is my big altogether number. What kind of groups did I make? Well, I made groups of 3, 15 divided into groups of 3. And then how many groups did we make? All you have to do is count your groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I made 5 groups. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Now it wants us to draw loops around the counters to show groups of 5. Easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last group. Okay. So now it says complete division sentence. Well, what comes first? It's always going to be our big altogether number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's the same as this one. So how many did I put in my groups? Groups of 5. 15 divided by 5. And how many groups could you make? 1, 2, 3. 15 divided into groups of 5 makes 3 groups. I want to take a second and take a look at these 2 questions. 15 divided by 3 is 5, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. These 2 work as fact families because I just took the same 3 numbers, 15, 3, and 5, 15, 3, and 5, and I switched them around. Did our big number at the start ever change? No, just these numbers could change. Well, that's those questions done in a blink of an eye. So now let's move on to 3. And just because I don't want this video to be super, super long, I'm just going to do the first 3 questions. On your own, try these next ones. So I have 3 divided by 3. I don't have that much room, so I'm going to use my counters here. I chose to have yellow this time. So I'm doing 3 divided by 3. So that means my big altogether number is, anyone guess that? Well, it's always going to be the first number. The big altogether number is 3. It doesn't seem that big, but that's our starting number is 3. And we're dividing these 3 counters into groups of 3. So I'm going to take my marker, and I'm just like we did up here, I'm going to circle my groups of 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. That's one group of 3. Done. Do I have any more to make another group? So does it work? Yeah, it sure does. How many groups of 3 do I have? I just see 1. Just the one group of 3. Well, that was easy. I'm going to give you a big hint, guys. Anything divided by itself will be 1. 5 divided by 5, 1. 6 divided by 6, 1. 1,752 divided by 1,752, 1. Because you're just making one group of itself. Awesome. So now I have 4 divided by 2. How many counters do I need? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 groups. And I'm dividing them into groups of 2. So I'm going to circle my groups of 2. 1, 2, circle. 1, 2, circle. Okay. How many groups of 2 did I make? 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Awesome. Now let's move on to the last one. How many counters do I need? I have 10 divided by 5. So how many counters do I need? 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got my 10 counters here. And what kind of groups am I making? Groups of 5. You're right. I'm dividing my 10 counters into groups of 5, so I need to find 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to move them. One group of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another group of 5. Are they equal? Yes. How many groups? One group, two groups. So 10 divided into groups of 5 is, you can't even see it now, is 2. 2 groups, 2 equal groups of 5. All right. So you can try these ones on your own. I feel like you guys probably have a good handle on it. So I'm going to move on to pages 176 and 177 so that you can see the instructions so you do those right. As you can see on your page, it doesn't look like a big black box like that. The printer did the craziest thing, you guys. It like x-ray visioned your sheets for some reason. So the box around that means don't do it. Don't, unless you really want to and you have extra time. I'm trying to save you time. So again, our goal is to use words, models, and symbols to describe division by grouping. Regrouping was addition or subtraction. Now we're just grouping. So number 1A says, draw loops around the marbles to show groups of 2. So you're going to circle 2 in a group. You're going to see how many groups you can make. Then it says, draw loops around the marbles to show groups of 1. You can do that. So you're going to just find the groups of 1, see how many you can get. Number 2 says, calculate. Now you can use the counters like I did, or if you want to draw pictures over here to show, like for this one, you would draw 8. You could draw 8 of anything. You could draw 8 kids. I've made a huge mistake drawing all these kids. Okay, I've got 8 kids, and I'm going to put them into groups of 4, groups of 3, groups of 5. You're going to do it like that, and you can draw pictures. You could use your counters, whatever you want to do for that works for me. 3 says 20 people play basketball in teams of 5. How many teams are there? Model your solution and sketch it. So basically draw a picture. Remember, you got to draw your big number, your all together. So that's how many players there are. And you're making teams of 5. Then circle your teams of 5. So draw all your people, circle your teams of 5. Then you get to write your division sentence. It's the same as this. When we circled the groups and we wrote our division sentence. Remember, our big number always is first. Then we get to go on to page 177. And again, I blocked off this one. That means don't do it. If you can read it, if you can somehow x-ray vision and read it, if you want to do it, you can go ahead, but I don't need you to do it. That's okay. Now we're going to do a word problem again. So Brady had 15 cards and gave out 3 to each player. He had none left over. So how many people were playing the card game? So he has, think about it. What is your big all-together number? And how many are in the groups? So it seems like there are 3 cards to each player. So 3 in a group. You're trying to figure out how many groups. The players are the groups. So 15 cards, 3 to each player. So draw your 15 cards, circle your groups of 3. Then write a division sentence for this picture. Again, find your big all-together number. Figure out how many are in each group, and then how many groups are there. So I'm just going to write that down right here. So I know that I've shown you that these two can be switched and it's okay. But for this week, I want you to show me how total number divided by how many in a group equals how many groups. I want that answer. Then B says, how can you group 10 stars in a different way? Write the division sentence. Again, your big altogether number comes first. Make different groups than up here. Remember, the groups have to be equal for division. Oh, I don't know. I don't think that was off for very long. Anyway, remember, the groups have to be equal for division. You're dividing these stars up. There's 10 stars. Then all the way down to 7, draw a picture that shows 6 divided into groups of 2. So you're going to draw your big altogether number is 6, and the groups are of 2. And then you're going to draw 6 divided into 2 groups. The wording here is switched, so be careful. All right. Well, my friends, thank you for watching this whole video. Again, if you ever have questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to call either of your teachers, well, me or Mrs. Dennis. We are here for you. It's just like in school. You don't have to be embarrassed to come ask us a question. That's why we're here, sitting here waiting for you to ask us a question. So don't get frustrated, no tears. Don't let it get to that. Come talk to us. We're here to help you. I miss you guys. Good luck. Have fun. Talk to you in the next video.